welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be sharing with you some tips for how to stay on a healthy and balanced diet while being a uni student. I know as a uni student, especially if you move into accommodation that's self-catered and you're not used to cooking, or you've never really been that into cooking when you're at home, it can seem quite daunting. You don't really know what to have, and also suddenly you realise how much food actually costs and you realise you've got a budget as well for these kind of things. So I thought I would share with you some of my tips for how to stay on a sort of healthier, balanced diet at uni, because it's so easy to fall into buying pre-made food, ready meals. It's readily available everywhere, but not only that, that does also get quite expensive. So if you are a uni student and one of your goals maybe this year was to eat a bit healthier, then hopefully these tips will help you. So my first tip would be to do a big weekly shop and stock up your fridge with loads of fresh fruit and veg. That way you have food in for the week. I often find that if you do a big food shop at once, you end up saving money than just randomly buying little bits here and there. And so I love to just stock up with loads of fresh fruit and veg, as well as tinned veg as well, so things like beans and lentils, which are great and versatile. And those kind of things really aren't that expensive, especially if you buy in-season fruit or veg. That is the best way to go about it, and also that way it kind of keeps it interesting, it mixes it up a bit, and it gives you new things to try and work with and makes meal times a bit more exciting as well. And also by stocking up your fridge with these kinds of foods, it'll encourage you to eat them, especially as it's fresh. You know it's going to go off probably by the end of the week, so you'll want to use it up. If not, sort of look at it as a waste of money in a way. Also, food waste is a major problem these days as well, so think of the good for not wasting the food, and also you're technically wasting money if you don't use it up. So that will sort of be an incentive to encourage you to eat those kind of foods, and every time you open the fridge they're there looking at you, asking you to eat them. So I definitely think that stocking up with the right kind of foods can be a big game changer. Also, of course, as I mentioned, it can be expensive suddenly when you've not been used to having to buy loads of food and do a big weekly shop and you don't really know what to buy or how much to buy. And especially when you're trying to be eating healthier, it's so easy to be bought into these massive health food brands and so-called superfoods, which just bump the price right up. And to eat healthy, honestly, you do not need to be taken in by that. Do not just go for those foods thinking, oh, if I have a bit of this every day, I'm now going to be healthy and feel amazing. That's not exactly how it works. Yes, a lot of them work as great supplements or additions to your diet, but don't feel that you have to buy those foods. Maybe every now and again, if you have a bit of spare money or you feel like treating yourself, splash out. Or if you just want to experiment with one of them, then maybe try it for that week and just treat yourself every now and again. But you don't have to be buying them and spending loads of money on them on a regular basis. Like I said, best way to go is buying in season fresh fruit and veg, and you really can't go wrong. My third tip is for if you are self-catered or you have to cook certain meals, because I even know that in a lot of catered accommodation it's not every single meal that you get, then a great place to start if you're unsure of how to cook, what to do, search up loads of recipes. There's a great database all over the internet now of just simple, easy, quick recipes that use really great healthy ingredients. I do, just a bit of a plug here for myself, but I do have an Instagram page where I do regularly post dinner, lunch, breakfast ideas, as well as baking and snack ideas too. So if you want a bit of inspo and don't know where to start, definitely check out my page. I'll link it down below in the description. But even so, if you've just picked up some new vegetable that you've never cooked with before, it's so easy just to take to the internet, search what can I do with an aubergine. I don't know why I thought of an aubergine, but that's just a bit of a random one that's not like an everyday vegetable, so you know, you might not know what you want to do with it, and that way you get excited to cook it as well. You're wanting to cook and experiment, and you can find recipes that you're thinking are gonna actually taste really good, rather than just knowing I haven't got the skills or I don't know what to do, so whatever I create, it isn't gonna taste great. Definitely get a good repertoire of recipes that you want to try out, and that gets you more pumped up for cooking and creating healthy meals. My fourth tip is to cook in large batches. I always love when I've done this, especially on busy days or days where I don't finish until late, as it just makes it so much easier. You get back and all you've got to do is reheat the food that you already cooked, and maybe cook something like rice or pasta or whatever it may be to go along with it, which really doesn't take that much time. And takes relatively little effort. So often when I do cook a meal, so it doesn't get too repetitive, I'll cook it for about 2 or 3 portions worth, and then I can either use it up for lunches or dinners over the next few days. And that means if you do get a day where you just don't really feel like cooking, or it has been busy, or it's been stressful, or you're just not that into cooking, so want to minimize how often you have to do it, then having that food there ready is definitely going to help you, and it will stop you reaching for any kind of pre-made food or just random meals of just random snacks. I've seen people at uni just say, oh, I'm going to have some random crisps or nachos for dinner, and then I've got some chips in the freezer, just because they haven't been that bothered or prepared for the week ahead or thought about their meals. But if you make a large batch of it, especially if you cook something that's completely plant-based, you can even freeze it if you make a massive batch of it. I've done that before with veggie chili, and then a good couple of weeks again later down the line, once you've sort of forgotten about it and not had it for a while, you can defrost it and get it out ready for the week ahead as well. So that always works so well, and definitely saves you money because you're not going to be ordering a takeaway. That's not only expensive but not the best thing for you, or taking ready meals as well, which again definitely are a lot more expensive than just making it for yourself from scratch. And my final tip is, if you do want some kind of sweet snack or some kind of dessert, when looking out there at the market, the healthier sort of choices out there again can be quite expensive. So this is where just having fun in the kitchen and getting creative really comes in handy. If you're wanting to try and make a cake or some kind of biscuit or just any kind of sweet treat or anything, then there will be a healthier recipe out there. And again, this gets more exciting because you get to explore in the kitchen, discover new things, and eventually with cooking and baking, honestly, the more you practice, the more natural it comes to you, even if you don't start out as a cook. When I was younger, I've always quite enjoyed baking, but I definitely never really got into cooking until, I mean, it's still fairly early, probably like my mid-teens, I would say. So around the age of 14, 15, I did start to get more into cooking then. But definitely when I started, I had to follow a strict recipe or have some kind of guidance. I would not know what to do. Whereas now if I've got leftovers, I can easily kind of work out something that might work, or adding the right seasonings, things and herbs and spices, and just making some kind of dish from it and working with what I've got. But that definitely took a long time for me to get there, and especially now eating a plant-based diet, my traditional baking that I used to do when I was younger is very different to what it is now. So again, that's all come through practice and experience, and yes, it may take time, but honestly in the long run, if you look at this as a long-term thing, you'll be so much more thankful for it. Or if you do really struggle with baking and just can't be bothered, again, if you do have a little bit of extra money, then maybe that week you will splash out on a few sort of healthier treats or snacks that you can buy while you're out and about. Some of my favourites are the Livia's products. I was about to say Livia's Kitchen, but it's just recently changed its name to just Livia's. I love all of her products. I need to try the new Dunks, need to get my hand on some of those. But also Deliciously Ella, her oat bars are super tasty, and her nut butter balls that she's recently released, they are great. But again, things like date balls, which are essentially kind of like the nut butter balls, or energy balls, they're really easy to make. Just buy some dates, blitz them with a blender, add in some raw cacao powder or some ginger, or I don't know, go for whatever flavour you want to, some cinnamon, vanilla, whatever it might be. You can really get creative with those kind of things, and they're really simple and quick and easy to make. So definitely get exploring the recipes out there, or like I said, do occasionally splash out and treat yourself as well, just if it is going to help you stay on route to a healthier lifestyle and make better choices. So those were all of my tips for how to sort of keep a healthier and more balanced diet while at uni and being on a budget, of course. I really do hope that you found this video useful. Let me know if you are a uni student, and if you are trying to experiment with eating a bit healthier and getting more into cooking or baking and creating dishes from scratch, or even if you're not a uni student and you're working from a budget and just really trying to get into a healthier lifestyle and eating, then this video hopefully would have been useful for you too. Let me know what you thought in the comments, as well as smashing a big thumbs up if you did enjoy this video, and don't forget to click on that little red subscribe button down below if you're new to my channel. And also there is that notifications bell too that you can tap on so that you're notified whenever I upload, and I'll be sure to see you very soon with a brand new video. Bye!